All right, let's talk about retiring overseas. Belize always comes up. You see the pictures, perfect beaches, sunny skies. It looks like an absolute paradise. But today, we're going to go beyond those shiny brochures. We're going to get into the real story of what it actually takes to make a life there.
I mean, on the surface, it's got everything. A super tempting retirement program, those beautiful turquoise waters, a really laid-back vibe. It almost sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? So that's the big question we're tackling today. What's the fine print? What are the realities you absolutely have to know before you even start dreaming about packing your bags?
To really get the full picture, we have to start with the dream itself. Let's take a look at what makes Belize so incredibly attractive to so many people, especially retirees from North America.
And Belize has gotten really good at pitching that dream. It starts right here with their branding. This logo, it's more than just a cool design. It's a promise, right? A promise of this vibrant, natural, super welcoming lifestyle. And as you're about to see, that promise is built on some pretty solid ground.
So let's break down that promise. Why does it top so many lists? Well, first off, it's the only English-speaking country in all of Central America. That is a huge barrier just gone right off the bat. Then, you add in a really straightforward residency program, the fact that you're just a 2-hour flight from places like Houston or Miami, and a stable currency that's permanently pegged 2-to-1 with the US dollar. Oh, and you top it all off with a warm subtropical climate all year round. Yeah, you can start to see why it's so popular.
Okay, so the dream is crystal clear, but, dreams have price tags. So let's get practical and talk about the numbers. How much does it actually cost to live in this paradise?
The whole financial appeal really hangs on this one thing, the Qualified Retired Persons Program. You'll hear it called the QRP. Think of it like a golden ticket. It's a government plan specifically made to roll out the red carpet for retirees with some seriously attractive perks, especially when it comes to taxes.
And what does it take to get this golden ticket? This is the number that just blows people away. All you have to do is prove a monthly income of just $2,000 US, and that income has to come from a pension or some other source outside of Belize. That's it. That number right there makes the dream seem incredibly reachable for a lot of people.
So, let's see what that income actually looks like in real life. This table is great because it shows how your budget is totally tied to the lifestyle you want. A couple could live a pretty simple, nice life on the coast in a place like Corozal for as little as $1,400 a month. But if you want that high-end island experience on Ambergris Caye, you're looking at $3,000, maybe more. The point is, you've got options for different budgets.
And here's another massive financial plus. In a lot of other countries, it's really complicated or even impossible for a foreigner to own land. Not in Belize. You can own property outright with the exact same legal rights as a Belizean citizen. For anyone looking to actually invest and buy a home, this is an absolute game changer.
Okay, so the financial stuff, it looks pretty compelling. But you don't live your life on a spreadsheet. So now, we've got to get into the on-the-ground reality. We need to talk about what daily life is like, the culture, the pace, and of course the big one, safety. The first thing any expat will tell you about is Belize time. And this isn't just a cute saying. It's a real fundamental shift in culture. That rush, rush, rush lifestyle from back home, you trade it in for a much, much slower rhythm. It can be amazing, but it also means you need a lot of patience, especially when you're trying to get official things done. Now, for the serious part, crime. And the data, well, it tells a complicated story. On one hand, there's some really good news. In the first half of 2025, Belize saw murders drop by a pretty significant 29% between the first and second quarters. That shows that things like increased police patrols and community outreach are actually making a difference. But, and this is a really important but, that's not the whole story. During that exact same time frame, the number of reported rape cases almost doubled. And this right here is the reality of the situation. You've got progress in one area of violent crime happening at the same time as this deeply concerning trend in another. It's just not a simple safe or unsafe kind of answer. And to get beyond the numbers, you just have to listen to the people on the ground. This is from Inspector Darwin Serrano of the San Pedro Police. He points to a core problem, a lack of trust in the community. He says people see things, but they're afraid to say anything. And that really undermines safety for everybody. It's a perspective that stats alone just can't give you.
All right, let's switch gears to another huge topic for any retiree, healthcare.
I mean, this isn't just a nice to have, it's a total non-negotiable. And in Belize, it's kind of an equation you have to solve, and it takes a little bit of creativity.
The healthcare system there is really a tale of two different worlds. On one hand, for basic, everyday stuff, it's pretty great. You can see a doctor for like 15 or 20 bucks, it's affordable, it's accessible. But the problems pop up when you need something more complex. The country just doesn't have a lot of specialists or the high-tech equipment, and it's not really set up to handle major emergencies or manage serious chronic conditions.
So that raises a massive question, right? If you have a serious medical issue or a chronic condition you need to manage, how do you possibly make that work? What's the real-world solution that thousands of expats are using to bridge that healthcare gap?
And this slide right here is the answer. It's called medical tourism. Many expats just travel across the border to Mérida in Mexico, which is a major hub for high-quality healthcare. And just look at these numbers. An artificial hip replacement that costs over $50,000 in the US costs just $12,000 in Mérida. This cross-border strategy is literally what makes retiring in Belize possible for so many people.
Okay, so we've covered the dream, the money, the day-to-day realities, and the big solutions people use. So for this last part, let's just boil it all down into some solid advice. What's the mindset? What does it really take to not just get by, but to actually thrive as a retiree in Belize?
You know, when you talk to people who've done it successfully, it all comes down to these 4 things. First, you have to slow down, period. You have to truly embrace Belize time. Second, you better pack a giant bag of patience, because things just work differently there. Third, you've got to be someone who wants to embrace nature. You're literally trading traffic jams for the sound of tropical birds. And finally, and this might be the most important one, rent before you buy. Live there for a while, try out different areas, and find the community that really feels like home.
So, we've gone on a whole journey, haven't we? We've seen the paradise pitch, the very practical price tag, and the really important fine print on things like safety and healthcare. We've looked at the challenges and the clever ways people solve them. So the last question, well, that's really for you to think about. Is this unique, slower, and beautifully imperfect rhythm of Belize the right one for your next chapter?